Google's loss is Facebook's gain. ComScore says Americans are spending more time on Facebook than Google. Users spent about 41 million minutes on Facebook in August, just passing Google's 39.8 million minutes. Those numbers include all Google-owned sites like YouTube, Gmail, and Google News. Now, Facebook minutes have nearly doubled over the past year, and obviously part of that, no doubt, due to subscriber growth itself, or whatever you call that, having a profile growth. So is this a real blow to the world's #1 search giant? John Ford is here to break it down. What do you think, John? I mean, is there a real weakness here in the moat around Google?
Well, Aaron, as you said, Facebook indeed edged out Google as the web's top hangout in August, capturing 9.9% of users' time. That's more than Google's ever gotten. Take a look at the numbers here. Facebook's been on a tear the past 3 years, growing from less than 2% of the web's audience to 10% today, while Google more than doubled its share over the same period. So, question is, what does it mean for Google? Here's what it doesn't mean. This doesn't mean Facebook is eating Google's lunch in the short term, because they've got two different core businesses. Facebook is the biggest display advertising player on the web. That's basically brand advertising, stuff you want people to spend a lot of time looking at. Google, on the other hand, makes most of its money on search. Just this week, they rolled out Google Instant, a way to find out what you're looking for, find what you're looking for faster, click the best ads, and go. If Google can get you to spend time on its sites, that's good, but efficient use of time is more important than time itself. So in the short term, Facebook's win isn't necessarily Google's loss. But here's the challenge for Google. Just look at the stock. It needs to develop big new businesses beyond PC search, and so far it hasn't figured that out. Google execs are hoping mobile, music, video, and even enterprise software might develop into real winners over time, and they're investing Google's search profits to try to grow those businesses. In the meantime, though, more of the world seems to be hanging out on Facebook. Eventually, Google's going to have to figure out how to either crash Facebook's party or start a cooler one. Aaron?
All right. Thanks very much, John Ford. So you heard John's report. Now we ask the question, if Google's best days are in the rearview mirror, even though they have not yet been conquered, or is this just Facebook coup, just a blip on the radar? Here to discuss, Lou Kerner, social media analyst at Wedbush Securities, and Steve Weinstein, senior analyst at Pacific Crest Securities. Okay, good to have both of you with us. Lou, it is interesting that a couple of years ago, maybe not even that long ago, Google was the king of the world. Google was don't be evil. I mean, Google was a company everyone wanted to be a part of, the cool company. And now it sort of seems like maybe that's changing. You got Bing coming on the search. You got Facebook as the gateway to the web. Is Google really at risk?
Well, if you think about what Google's core business is, which is driving traffic to other websites around the world, that's what Google gets paid for. Facebook actually is already a meaningful driver of traffic to a lot of the world's biggest websites. They drive more traffic to Google's YouTube already. So they're already a major player in social sites like YouTube, like Twitter, like the social shopping site Groupon. And if you think that the world is getting more social, which undoubtedly it is in my view, then I think Google has a significant threat from Facebook.
Steve, what do you think? I mean, it is interesting that so many people who use Facebook, I guess that's their portal to the web. So it really is how they get exposed to everything else, as opposed to old people like me who go to google.com and type in a search term as their entree into the web.
No, actually, I would disagree with that. I don't think that Facebook is necessarily the portal to the web. I think people use the sites for very different reasons. I think Facebook can be an interesting site for social communication and certainly discovery of new items. But I think when there's a real intent to go find a particular piece of information or a particular thing to buy, which is where the money is really made, it's driven by the user, people still tend to favor search. And I think another part of the analysis that's really being overshadowed here is it's really only in the last couple of years, I think the search ecosystem has really reached a real critical mass to where you can now see investments kind of in the fringe content. So you see companies coming up really just to develop content so it can be discovered through Google search. That's something that had been talked about a long time ago, but really only in the last year or two was there enough volume at those tail end searches for that to occur. So I think there's a shifting ecosystem here that's going on, and I think both companies are solving different problems, but I think there's a whole nother leg up for Google and how people are going to use search over the next few years.
And maybe so. It's interesting. I was with Mark Zuckerberg recently, Lou, and he was making this case for, and he wasn't trying, Steve, to say he was going to unseat Google, but that's sort of what he was saying, because what he was saying was, well, if you have a Facebook profile, Aaron, and you like a certain kind of yoga wear, all the people that know you are going to say, oh, and then they'll go check that out. So in a sense, it's targeted advertising with people that you know and trust who have used things and liked them. In a sense, it kind of saves a whole lot of time that you might have spent in the old days searching for yoga wear on Google.
Look, undoubtedly, I disagree with Steve. I actually think that Facebook is going to become a major player in search, and not just on Facebook.com. But Facebook is really a platform. The more exciting part of Facebook, if you talk to Mark, is the fact that more than 1.5 million websites around the world have deployed the Facebook like button. Such, if you go to Amazon now, you can see when your friends' birthdays are coming up, and they will tell you what your friends like. So searching for a birthday present for your friend has already been made easier through Facebook. On Amazon.
Interesting. Steve, what's your bottom line? Would you still buy Google shares?
Well, hang on, actually, I want to address that.
Please go ahead, and also answer the question on the buy, if you would.
Sure, yeah. I think that the social graph is probably the most overhyped measure for relevance maybe ever. Just because you and I are friends or we have some sort of connection doesn't mean that I'm interested in your yoga wear or that it's a good fit for me. By far, heads and shoulders above any other measure for relevancy there is are the keywords typed into the search box. Okay.
But what I'm saying is, if I have a friend and and I'm looking for yoga wear, I'm going to check and see what she's wearing. That's what I'm saying in that method. Not that I would randomly get interested in yoga wear if I weren't already interested. But if I'm already interested, isn't there something to be said for that, or no?
I'd say no. Because when you're trying to put together the whole social graph of all the people you're interacting with on Facebook, the strength of the relationship really can vary pretty substantially, and the things that we relate on can also vary substantially. So I may have listed my favorite yoga wear, but you and I may have really different tastes and reasons for connecting. It may be because we both like stocks. And so I don't think that's really a very strong measure of relevancy.
Well,
that's not to say that over time they can't do it.
I wouldn't go on your profile for yoga wear, but it's nothing personal.
Okay,
all right, we have to leave it there. Quickly, though, buy or sell, Steve?
Absolutely, buy.
All right, and
I haven't underperformed on the shares.
All right, so there's your buy and your sell. It takes two to tango and to make a market. Thanks very much to both of you. We appreciate it.